close, but no cigar. All right.
There we go.
We are ready on a Saturday morning again. In the first Saturday, or is this the second Saturday? I guess this will be the second Saturday in February now.
And I have to confess, I'm guilty of cultural misappropriation.
What have you misappropriated?
I just played air bass and I ain't black.
Oh, I thought that was a guitar where there was none. I thought you were just throwing your own guitar piece in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you got to have there's a difference on how you look when you play the guitar. See, the bass, you're like this.
Mm-hmm. And the head nod, yeah.
Just back and forth. Guitar, you're.
Oh, yeah. Winking. No, and folks, if you don't know what I mean, watch South Park's episode Faith Plus One, where Cartman goes after a Christian gold album. And he gets Token to play bass. Token says, I don't have a bass. He says, yes, you do. You're black. Go down in your basement and get your bass. Yeah. He comes out. What do you know? There's a bass down there. But I can't play it. Yes, you can play it. You're black. What do you know? I can play it.
Those guys. I remember I saw that one. That one was funny.
That is so classic.
Yeah, those guys.
And they got
no matter who.
The pop Christian group Plus One. They nailed them.
Yeah, nailed. Oh. Yeah. See, what's sad is I actually like Plus One. I thought they were good. In fact, I have their CD.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, Nate Walters, their keyboardist, my son got to know him, his sister, and that. He's brilliant. But the rest of them, I'm sorry. Well,
I think, as I recall, back when they were popular, they played at the Big Splash. They actually, KYMS had them, not KYMS, KXOJ had them at Big Splash.
That was the biggest crowd they've ever played for. And that was right at the end. That was their last tour.
Huh.
And that summer they ended. Now, they played here in Tulsa before that at Winter Gym. When they first went, they broke with the label that had formed them, who had exploited them. They're getting nothing. And they were just a dancing boy band, right?
Right.
And
Christian version.
Nate Cole, the lead singer, pretended he could play guitar. He could play the D chord, which is the easiest chord on guitar.
You know, I have to tell you, back when I was 14, my parents got me a guitar.
Yeah.
Electric guitar. And so my friends, they all had this group there for me. And so they asked us, this was in Long Branch, New Jersey.
This would have been mid-'60s.
Right. It was on the coast, on the ocean. And so we were going to play on this place on the boardwalk there in Long Branch. And
where's Long Branch? What state?
New Jersey.
Okay. So East Coast. Yeah.
So anyway, so they asked me, well, bring your guitar and play. I said, I don't know how to play the guitar. I have one, but he said, don't worry, fake it. Just fake it.
Yeah!
Nobody will know. And I even then I had scruples. I said, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to be faking playing the, air guitar with a real guitar, and sing along. I could sing the songs, but anyway, nobody will never know.
Were you the token?
I will know.
Were you the token?
Yeah, I was token. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I was token. And
so you and some white boys, huh?
Well, we had another black kid, actually. Okay. But I can't remember if Mike was in that band, if he played or not. He was just one of our posse. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you're bringing back these old scars in my life, my scarred childhood.
Yeah. If you want to know what Eddie's childhood is like, go watch the cartoon Fat Albert from the 70s. That was Philly Hood, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a part exaggerated to an extent.
Yes, very much. And those were all Bill Cosby characters.
Yeah. Bill even did the voices. Remember, he did all the voices. So, hey, Fat Albert, and then the other guy. Hey, Albert, man, all of those. You can identify the most of them. But see, what people probably don't know about Bill, in Germantown, where we lived, there's a school, Central High School.
Okay.
And it was a special, it was kind of like, it was like Booker T.
Yeah.
You had to have a certain grade point.
Magnet school.
Magnet school. And it was like where all the smart kids went to school, all the smart
and the blacks.
Hood kids.
The blacks and the smart white kids.
No, I think it was just, it was both. It was all black, smart.
Okay.
Smartest black kids, I guess. Anyway, but that's where Bill Cosby went to Central High. And it's funny, too, we lived right a block from LaSalle University. It was LaSalle College at the time. I probably told about something about LaSalle before. But a Catholic university. And it was just right up the block. It was one block away from where we lived. But anyway, it's just funny you bring back some of those childhood memories. But the one in New Jersey, it was, one of those things that I filed away until you jerked it back out from the past for me.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a lot to talk about. The first thing I want to deal with, I've got to get this out.
All right.
And I've ticked a lot of people off on Facebook.
Oh. Well, that's an average week, isn't it?
Yeah. This time I might have done a few more. But it's like, it's so funny how progressives are, and I can't call them pseudo-Christians, but sensitive Christians,
The be nice gospel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they're accusing me of hate. I'm propagating hate online,
Black rage.
And I don't, there's no hate. I don't, if you actually read my stuff and read it in a calm, you're so triggered by it is what the problem is. It infuriates people. But anyway, the issue is the video. I'm sure you're familiar with what video I'm talking about. The Hakuna Matata. The Hakuna Matata. It's a Lion King video that some White House staffer posted. Ooh. And it's an animation of like Lion King animals. And it's got all of the different Democrat leaders depicted as different animals. Okay. Well,
baboons and hyenas, or
yes, monkeys, gorilla, elephants, hippopotami.
Okay.
Oh,
He knows Greek.
I'll get to that, but anyway, so everyone is triggered and outraged because what the left has done, which they're so good at doing, they took one clip out of it, the beginning, and it's Barack and Michelle, and they're like monkeys. They're monkeys with their heads on it.
Okay.
But nobody ever read or watches the rest of the, like Biden is the baboon.
Okay.
And then you've got Whoopi Goldberg is a hippopotamus.
Okay, so it's okay to depict Obama as an animal.
No, that's where the outrage is. Everybody's upset that Obama and Michelle are depicted as apes. Yeah. So they're making it a racial thing.
Would it be better if they were donkeys? Or elephants?
Apparently to somebody it is.
Or rhinos? Or, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just asinine.
Well, it is.
The outrage, I've had it. I'm triggered.
Well, you should see it's Christians that I know. I mean, nice, good Christian people that are outraged and upset, ready to throw him under the bus because how could he? Well, two things. Number one, he didn't know about it. It was some staffer that got this thing and put it on his, what is it, Trump, the website.
True Social?
True Social, yeah.
Sure.
So somebody put it on there. He didn't know about it. And then secondly, even if he did, it's funny because what it is, it shows these different characters as different animals. These are actually all Democrats. And then in the end, he's got all of them in a row bowing as he, as the lion, is walking through it. Yeah. So instead of just appreciating the art form or the humor or what in it, these people are outraged. And it's these Christians that are so outraged that outrages me because you should know better. First of all, and it was funny. As I went down the road looking, it's all white people, and the black people I know and have Facebook friends. They're all laughing about it. And they don't have any problem with it, but it's all the nice white folks that are so upset about Michelle and Barack being depicted as monkeys. I mean, come on, people, wake up.
Barack is white, just like you.
He's half.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you remember during COVID, Dr. Bob McCullough introduced a term called mass platform psychosis. When the whole world buys some crap, it's like the brainwashed. Eddie, I'm telling you, the white guilt is a mass platform psychosis.
It is. And the Democrats have been able to milk it and nurture it and build it up to the point where people who should never be affected by it are affected by it. They're so guilty. What did you do? What does this stupid cartoon, is it going to make people hate black people? No.
Eddie, the church is not only full of it, the church is magnifying it and bringing religious guilt on top of this sociological brainwashing.
The church, little c.
Yeah.
Because to me, true believers that really delve deeply, here's people we may not agree with their policy, but no one has a right to diminish who they are. And I'm thinking, I think we do. Jesus turned over the tables that the money changers outraged them. He came down on the Pharisees and everything like that. And you've got these people who think if you say something truthful about bad people, if you call a bad person bad, you're so unloving, you're so unchristian, that's ungodly for you to do. No, I'm telling the truth and I'm warning. One of the greatest apologetic videos that I've ever seen is by, Cal Penn? You know who Cal Penn is?
No.
The comedic magic act Penn and Teller?
Yes.
Okay. Cal Penn is the big guy, the one who talks. The other guy never talks.
Oh yeah, Penn.
I don't even know if he can talk unless he has talk.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never. He's good at not saying. He's like Stan Laurel, remembering Laurel Harding never. But anyway, so he was in Las Vegas, and he was talking about this guy that would come to his show. And he went up and told him, I want to tell you about Jesus. And now this, what's sad or crazy is Cal Penn is an atheist.
Yes, he is.
And he tells you he's an atheist. Mm. But what he says is all the people that were coming down on this guy, well, how dare he? Why is he flaunting his religion? Da, 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 da. And so Penn says, he said, no, you have it all wrong. If you truly believe someone is going to hell and burning for an eternity in undescribable pain and agony, and you don't warn them and don't try to keep them from it, you are the most cruel and heartless person that ever lived.
Exactly.
And man, I just thought, wow. I mean, that is, so he was saying, if you truly believe that someone is on their way to eternal damnation in hell, and you don't share it with them to try to get them out of it, you are the one who's guilty.
Case in point, back in 2012, I'm running the Santorum campaign here in Oklahoma. And the Ron Paul campaign really is catching ground in it. And my cousin, who's a legislative staffer for a Democrat from Minnesota, Democrat congressman. And my cousin's working in his office, and he's kind of congratulating me just on it. We're family and stuff. And he says, let me tell you, the Democrats are only afraid of two Republicans, Ron Paul and Rick Santorum. And he said, Gingrich, Romney, and listen, we don't worry about them. I said, why is that? He says, because Santorum and Ron Paul are the only two who actually believe what they're saying. He said, Romney doesn't believe any of this stuff. And he said the same about Gingrich, which I'm going to leave that alone. But the point is, it's the authenticity. Eddie, remember what you said about Donald Trump's first take on abortion, that a woman who hires a hitman to kill her baby ought to face criminal charges. If you don't believe that, as most preachers behind pulpits will say, oh, no, we can't go after the woman, just the doctors. I'm telling you, be careful of that preacher, because they don't authentically believe that it's murder.
Bringing it back to this video and what we're dealing with, that people would be so offended at a characterization of one couple. They pick them out of all of it. You've got Whoopi as a hippopotamus. You got others as an elephant. You got meerkats. You've got, in fact, what's his name? The minority leader of the Jeffers. He's what do you call those things? I guess he's the meerkat. Yeah. And which looks like a monkey, the way they have, the characterization. But nobody's offended and worried about anything they've done. Now, I'm going to turn it around. The things they have done and are still doing and trying to do with Melania Trump, okay, calling her a whore, a prostitute, or this or that, and all of this type of thing. And she's shown nothing but grace. She's never said a negative word about anybody, which is not what the prior first ladies have done, okay, and are still doing. And so for these people to be so upset that this video might offend the Obamas, it's over the top. I mean, honestly, that actually made me so mad last night. I had to pray myself to sleep to bring me back down. That
I'm watching the video here.
We're in a place right now. It reminds me, in the last days, it says that even the elect would be deceived if it were possible.
Yep.
And I think there's many people who are elect or may think they're elect, who aren't going to pass the test, because we're buying into, it's like they've got us looking over here when we should be looking over here.
Yep.
And like I said, it just drives me nuts. And I just pray. I have to pray myself down. I pray for people. But as far as hate, Dave,
yep,
I'm going to go back to how you and I met.
Oh, yeah.
I used to go after David
he triggered me.
On Facebook. But he was smart enough to figure out that it was a friendly jest or joust between us. Oh, yeah. He never took offense. And that's what made me like him or become good friends with him. And because eventually I just had to laugh. I said, man, nothing I do. What I tend to do when people put what I think are stupid things online or anywhere, I will come back at them to try to show them how stupid that thing is. I didn't
say anything stupid.
I'm gonna let that lay there. Okay. Oh man, you've almost ruined my. Anyway, but he's able to discern and look at what I was really saying. In other words, while I would make light of the things he was saying, which were true, for example, that the Mabee Center does not hold 16 or 26,000 people.
You mean ORU Stadium?
ORU Stadium.
That's what he told Greta that night.
ORU
it was ORU Stadium.
And so even though, I knew that, I was able to interpret that in a different way than Dave did, but he would call me out on it and we would go back and forth. I let him have it. He let me have it. But we remained friends on Facebook. And eventually you know, he offered to help me with my blog that I had.
Oh, yeah.
Different things. So anyway.
Well, when KFAQ tried to shut you up.
Right.
I said, Eddie, don't stop. They win if you stop.
Right. And so, but that's what we got to do. If you're so weak-minded or so easily offended, don't comment on anything. Don't show up on Facebook. Just become a lurker. Just read whatever is out there. And I just pray you're reading the right things and reading a balance of things. I spend probably 90 to 95% of my time on Facebook arguing with other people. And when I say other, obviously other people, not myself, but I mean people that are on the other side, liberals, anarchists, people, Black nationalists, Black people with a lot of rage and anger. And so I deal with them on their level. They don't respect weakness. They don't respect weakness. So if you think you can namby-pamby, especially on the race thing, come on, people, just grow up, wake up, and stand up. In our coffee time this morning, me and this group of men that I meet with had a whole discussion about the whole thing of how the white race and Christians in particular have been tyrannized by white liberals, not Black people, white liberals and their minions in the Black community to cause them to shirk back. And you have to be so careful about what you say. Oh, we don't want to offend those poor people. There's nothing poor about Black America, okay? They're not dainty flowers. They're not infants. They're grown people who need to be confronted when they're wrong and when they're doing bad things. And if you allow them, just because they're Black, to get away with things that you wouldn't let anybody else get away with, then you're just like that parent who sees the evil in other people, other children, but not yours. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what frustrates me, that you've got Black charlatans and hustlers, as Booker T. Washington talked about, race pimps, and they're out there just making hay. And so that's what infuriates me. But when I just rationally lay out there something, and then you can deal with it or not. But if you're offended, then get off my page.
One of the things I saw in you, Eddie, and I definitely now see in Trump, is beautiful about how Trump does not back down. He does not. I mean, he just, when he's got a position, he sticks with it. And I love that about him.
Even though you and I, there are things we don't agree with him on.
Oh, yeah.
He's got issues and things, that way he approaches certain things.
Trump is not infected with white guilt.
Right.
And that's the most beautiful thing, because so much of our political class is, and they'll throw each other under the bus.
Yeah. And, there's this thing that the image that the left tries to throw out of Trump the racist, that he's a racist. He's always a racist. If you go back before he ran for president, decided he's going to be a Republican and run for president, okay? Yeah. The same people that you see out there now calling him a racist and this and that are the people who were always hanging out with Trump. He was at parties with him, at galas with him. He used to love to go to the fights at Madison Square Garden. And there's Trump. You've got him with Jesse Jackson. You've got him with Al Sharpton. You've got him with, you name the Black leader.
Oh, they all loved him.
They loved Donald Trump. But you know what they really loved? His money.
Yeah,
That's what it really was. They want to be seen with
the
rich guy, the billionaire, right? But just as soon as they could, they turned and started stabbing him in the back. And it's crazy, especially Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
Because Trump probably gave more money to Al Sharpton than anybody else in the world. And yet he's...
So I got to tell you something here. I'm going to talk about this. Trump doesn't back down. One of the things that I was taught by, I don't know who it was, Sunday school teacher, well, you still are supposed to apologize for offending them. Hell no. I am not sorry. If you're wrongly taking offense, you're the one who needs to get your brain back together and apologize to me for your own stupidity in opposing what I'm saying. If what I'm saying is right, the fact that it offended you, I would rather offend you than offend the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. The people that I respect the most are the people that do battle with me in a rational way.
Yeah.
Because if they make sense and they convince me that I'm wrong, like in your case, when we would argue, I'll tell you where I learned this. I may have shared this before. When I first got on Facebook, they had what they call chat rooms.
Yeah.
And there was this all black chat room that I somehow stumbled on. And it turned out these are like radical, insane black militant people that I'm on it with. And I got on there and man, they would just rip me to shreds because I would come unprepared. I wouldn't fully know what the issue and how to deal with it and how to answer. But I didn't quit. I didn't get off.
They're cowards too because they come in a pack.
Yeah. And so I just learned to learn. I would get a topic that they would be discussing, and I learned how to research, where to research, and how to format it and deliver it in a way that they would understand. You're messing with the wrong person because you're messing with somebody. It's like Jesus says, study to show thyself approved, a workman rightly dividing the word of God. And it's not only learning how to rightly divide the word of God, learning how to rightly divide the Constitution, the laws, the environment, society, all of those things. And too many people want to get into an argument. It's like the old saying about bringing a knife to a gunfight. Every time I went into that chat room, it was a gunfight. And we're talking crazy black people, some crazy black people, and the kind that these same dainty flowers that are so offended, they would chew you to bits and spit you out in a heartbeat. They don't want your pity. They don't want you taking their side. Go away, honky, white girl or whatever, And so this is what it frustrates me, that you have people that should know better that don't. And if they do, they're trying somehow to skirt around it, but you cannot do that. You cannot give quarter. You must, first of all, study to show yourself approved. Know the word of God. Know your relationship with God. Share that, and then ask God to give you wisdom in all these issues, and then go for it. And if people attack you, so be it. It's on them.
I want to say two things to avoid in this, if we're going to give advice. One, be careful of confirmation bias. Stupid facts, check them. Even if you like what somebody posts, make sure it's true before you repost it. Because I've seen a lot of people lose their credibility because they posted something that they wanted to believe it's true. It was so easily disproven. The second thing, in fact, this is a good segue to say Dave Bond from the Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs is not with us today. He's getting over a cold, and we just assume him not be coughing across the table to us. So Dave, get well. He said he's planning on being here next Saturday. So we're going to try to make that work in our schedule. But here's the thing. And, Eddie, the head of OCPA, Jonathan Smalls, you've known Jonathan a long time. One of the things Jonathan particularly taught me, we're at a conference back in winter of 2018, like February, I think it was. And it was over here at the Doubletree. And he has the opening remarks right before Tom Coburn, the retired U.S. Senator, speaks. And Jonathan Smalls starts ripping into Mary Fallon. And afterwards, I'm out in the hall with him. I said, Jonathan, one of the things I'm learning about you guys is you never attack personalities. It's always policy. You don't get involved in campaigns. You don't trash specific legislators or governor. But here you went after Fallon. He said, yes. He says, that's very astute, Dave. He says, that is our policy. We made an exception. She's lame duck. She's out, and we are frustrated to no end over the past several years. So we made an exception to go after Mary Fallon in her last legislative session. But, and here's the point I want to get at. And I think we should bring it up next week with Dave Bond, is how to be effective with the legislature. One, you never demonize any of them, because you might get mad because of how they voted on a bill this week. But next week, they might be the champion that gets your bill out of committee and onto the floor for vote. You just cannot burn bridges. And Eddie, that's one of the things I've learned, not just with legislators, but with guys like you. Don't burn bridges. Just because you and I were in different camps in the 2016 primary doesn't mean we can't be allies later.
Yeah, I don't burn bridges. I just blow them up.
But you get my point, don't you?
I get your point, yeah. You know, it's funny. The president of Uganda years ago, before he became a dictator, he was just a freedom fighter. But anyway, he wrote this book. It's his story. But anyway, so I was reading his story, and he was friends with Ronald Reagan, and but he was also friends with Gaddafi.
Yeah.
And so what happened? Ronald Reagan didn't want to give aid to them because he was friends with Gaddafi. And he stood up, he told him, he says, you know, you have a right to dictate our terms over your aid, but you don't have a right to tell me who I can be friends with.
Yeah.
He told him, and Reagan respected it so much that he told him, you know, you can't tell me I can't be friends with him to be friends with you. Mm-hmm. That's like what high school or sorority girls do, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't be my friend if you're friends with her.
Can't come to my birthday party.
Yeah. And so I'll never forget that. So like I said, we must have no permanent friends, no permanent enemies. Mm-hmm. That's the way to, and by that, I don't mean, you know, friends that you grew up with and you trust with your life. They're like brothers or sisters. That's not what I'm talking about. A cursory friendship with this person over here because you like the same movies, you like the same whatever. And then doesn't mean you're going to have to like everything they like and make them like everything you like. And because somebody over here disagrees with you on this, doesn't mean they're always going to disagree. There's a guy that I am always getting into it with on Facebook, and you know, he shared something that was true. I had to agree with it. I said, "Yeah, you're right about that." You know, and then all of a sudden, it's like, you know, then all of a sudden he softened, and we were able to. But it doesn't. We still don't agree on these particular issues that we disagree on, but at least we can come to a common ground on other things. It doesn't mean I hate you. I disagree with your opinion or your view of this. Mm-hmm. That's all it means. It doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean I love you because I agree with this particular. You know, I can admire the dress on another woman. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean I'm in love with her, right? And I can think my wife's wearing an ugly dress. It doesn't mean I don't love her either, you know. So these are just different life lessons that we have to get used to. But if you get to the point where you're so, getting back to the original part of the discussion, if you're so easily offended by things that you shouldn't be offended by, you need to just stay out of the game. Stay out of the game.
And when you're picking allies to work with you on whatever agenda thing, you know, whether it's activism or, you know, advocacy, people who get easily offended, they're not going to be your most reliable allies. Yeah. You know, and so be careful how much you allow them to paralyze you if they all of a sudden get bent out of shape at the time when you're most relying on them. You can't.
See, people don't understand this is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany, okay? That they essentially brainwashed the people into thinking a certain way. because they got control of the media, they got control of entertainment, and communists, the same thing. And so that's what's happening in America, that they've got people that normally good, straight thinking people that have just been so inundated with it. And there's a thing about Christian people, especially the nicest and the sweetest ones, they just want to love everyone and want everybody to love them to their own demise. That these people, they don't really care about you. They will use you and spit you out. There's the old thing called useful idiots.
Yeah.
About the communists. The communists, when they come into a country, take over, they have these people that help them get in. As soon as they get in, they're the first ones executed, because they know those same useful idiots will be too easily swayed back the other way if they're not careful. So they want to get rid of them. So anyway, this thing has a lot of phalanges that.
Woe unto you when all people speak well of you, is a warning from Jesus in Luke 6:26. For so did their forefathers speak well of the false prophets. You can't be seeking approval of men, right, and ultimately please God. Right. I'm sorry, I stepped on you there.
That all right. If you're gonna step on me right
with scripture.
Yeah.
I got Eddie. I want to get into this.
Okay.
We just this weekend started the biggest global celebration of nationalism, particularly white nationalism. It's called the Winter Olympics. Now, why do I call it white nationalism?
Because of snow.
Yeah, that's right. It's sports that are played on ice or snow. That's what defines whether it's a Winter Olympic thing, right, or not. Now, unless you live,
do we have some colored games going on here that snuck into the
Eddie,
White Olympics?
There are a few people live way up high on Mount Kilimanjaro, but for the most part, Africans don't live in snow, for any part of the year. I don't know. South Africa gets snow once in a while, don't they?
I have no idea. But actually,
probably
apparently,
inland.
The very southern Cape Town down there, apparently it gets cold. It's winter because it's close. It's closer to the Arctic than the equator.
Yeah. But ultimately, this Australia, Africa, and South America somehow they don't get as cold, unless in South America you're in the Andes Mountains.
Argentina.
Yeah, Andes Mountains.
It's almost, the southern tip is almost at Antarctica. It's one of the closest places to it.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is really weird.
But there's not much population there.
No, right.
So the European nations, then the Soviet, former Soviet nations, and even Korea, China, and then Canada, United States. You got a lot of people live in the Northern Hemisphere, way more. And this is it.
That's not fair.
No.
Take it up with God.
But
how could you? How could you deny everyone snow and ice?
Yeah. But I'm telling you, Black folk, what percent of the global, they're about 9% of the American population, right? The world population. What would you put, 20, 30%?
I have no idea.
Okay. But they get more medals.
In the Summer
Olympics. Right? Because it's more conducive to their climate.
Right.
So, especially when you're having like the 68 Olympics in Mexico City.
It's interesting, though, and a lot of it has to do with dietary habits and conditions. So your East Africans in particular end up being your distance run. That's how they win most of them. Kenyans, Ugandans, some Ethiopians will win all of these, the 3,000 meters, the 5,000, the 10,000 meters, the marathon, the this, the that, the other. But when it comes to the sprints, you don't find them in it. And it has to do with diet and musculature. And see, I don't want to get into kinesiology or anything, but basically the muscles for the North American, in particular, athlete and some in Europe, is such that it's more conducive to the sprints, short distance races. and whereas others are more conducive to the long distance.
Yeah,
the black community.
But the black community, so to speak, there are so many different tribal body types. The pygmies don't look like, some of the other tribes.
I don't think there's a lot of pygmies in America.
Exactly. But what I'm getting at is the Kenyans, the Somalians, the Ethiopians, and that the black folk there are a different body type.
That's true. Yeah, even in some of the other. Yeah, it's true.
And so the sprinters, I don't know where the Jamaicans were imported in from, but boy, they seem to own the sprinter.
Well, but Jamaicans are like the Americans.
Yeah.
Black Americans. It has to do with diet and you're used to running short distances.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'll tell you what ruined me. I could have been a great sprinter, but every year as I got older, from the fourth grade on, when I was in the fourth grade, 9 years old, I won everything. The next year, and that Christmas after that, I got a bicycle.
Oh.
I started riding a bike instead of running to what we did. I was on this Air Force Base, and about a half mile from school, they had this across the main street. You had to cross. So all of us kids would gather there at 7:00. School started like 7:15, and so we would all wait there, and the air police would come and then they would stop the traffic and let all these kids go, and then the race would be on.
Oh.
For some reason, we just decided to see who's the fastest one getting to school. Well, I made it my mission to be the fastest one, and I won that for a whole year. My whole fourth grade, went to a track meet into the city there, won all my blue ribbons. That Christmas after that, the fifth grade, I got a bicycle. Mm-hmm. And I went to third place. Mm-hmm. And then in the sixth grade, so those muscles that I had developed from running, out sprinting everybody else trying to beat me to school, I lost those. And that's why.
And that's conditioning.
Yeah, it's in the hood, in the black communities. Hardly anyone goes a long way, has a stretch where they can run to school.
Yeah.
Right, for a long distance.
Okay.
But you sure know how to run fast, especially when you're carrying a TV. Mm-hmm.
Or trying to outrun a beatdown from a rival gang.
No, the reason I say that, there was this, the guys that did the In Living Color, they had this movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was something about the neighborhood. And they had these Olympic games, but it was all, running from the police.
Ghetto Olympics.
That's what it was, Ghetto Olympics. Yeah, you remember that?
No, I just made up that term.
That's exactly what they call it, Ghetto Olympics. It was on In Living Color. So I'm making a joke here, but those guys, In Living Color is one of the most original and free shows that was ever on TV.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the thing.
Let's talk about nationalism, because that term has gotten demagogued.
Nationalism. Yeah.
And especially like Christian national or white nationalism, as though it's a terrible thing.
Well, see what they've done. Here's what they've done. It's like the thing with Walter Martin, changing definitions, right? So where you can go to a cult.
Yeah.
And you say about Jesus, salvation, you can talk to them, but in their mind, they've been taught to turn it into something else.
That's interesting, because when I saw that 2 years ago, there was a big push about Christian nationalism. I had asked them to define it when I'd see it online. And I said, now, is that worse than Buddhist nationalism? And this one lady says, well, I'm not threatened by Buddhist nationalism.
There it is. See, that's it.
It was all just destroy whoever you feel threatened by.
Right.
It wasn't about truth. It was about power.
That's what they did before. So you used to have, your nationalists, okay, radical right-wing nationalists, okay. Then they made it right-wing Christian nationalist. And then after a while, they just basically took the nationalist stuff and made it the right-wing Christians. And your mind automatically went to a nationalist.
Yeah.
And that's bad and so forth. And yeah, it's back to that thing that people have literally been brainwashed to certain stimuli, like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
And you say certain words, Christian nationalist, or a white conservative Christian. Use white conservative Christian nationalist. And then they keep dropping words and making different combos. And after a while, any of those words are triggers to your mind to think, oh, these are evil people. These are bad people.
Yeah. A friend of mine was on with Bannon this morning, Mary Rook. She was a blogger here in Tulsa. And she's now back in Texas, where she's like 10th generation Texan. And she's talking to Bannon about, the rise of Islam, particularly in Texas. And Bannon has talked about the great effort that folks in Broken Arrow did to shut down this crazy scheme of a mosque. But Mary had the boldness to say, America is a Christian nation. And if you have a problem with that, why is it you don't have a problem with the Saudi Arabia being a Muslim country or India being a Hindu country? Does that offend you? But yet you somehow think that it's offensive to declare that we're a Christian nation. If the most prominent faith in America historically has been Christianity. I mean, look, even the tribes in Oklahoma make up some of the most on fire Christians I know of. I've gone to many of their churches. A lot of them in Eastern Oklahoma are Pentecostal.
Same with the Hispanic churches. The Ecclesia.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, And
it's interesting because, like Mary, she says, I am traditionalist Catholic, the dogmatic type. She's not ashamed of her Catholicism. I'm not ashamed of my Pentecostal beliefs. And I'm not going to apologize for it. And what they're trying to do is spread this guilt. Yeah. They want you to feel guilty about it. Now, so the Olympics is nationalism on display. It is a huge festival where everybody is encouraged to cheer on your nation, your people, your tribe. Right. And that's not been a bad thing.
No, you're right. And sadly, it was the 1968 Olympics that changed everything when John Carlos and Tommy, I can't think of his name. Yeah, did the Black Power Fist. And
on the podium.
Right. Yeah. Tommy Smith and John Carlos, when they did that on the podium, and that changed everything. At first, of course, they had their medals taken away, but they were given back later on, and Muhammad Ali, remember, or Castle Clay became Muhammad Ali, and then he refused to take part in the Olympics. He refused to do all these different things, refused to go into the military. And then all of a sudden, these people that were initially seen as traitors, a strong word, but dissidents, they became heroes. All of a sudden, we were all supposed to think like them. We don't want to support this country because this country's evil. What I say to these people now when they try to make me think or try to convince me America's an evil country, have you looked at the history of these other countries?
Yeah.
Have you? I mean, honestly, the plight of Black Americans in their worst state is better than the plight of Africans in their best state in parts of Africa.
You said that before, how when you'd be over there, they'd say, what is with this rotten attitude of American Black folk who are more bitter and discontent, and they got it so much better than the rest of us?
It boils down to one thing: communist socialism. That we've allowed ourselves to be infiltrated and brainwashed into this thinking, and the way it's been done is by guilting us.
Yes.
And that's what, going back to how we opened, Christians are being guilted into feeling proud of being Christian proud of having certain moral standards, proud of this and that, to where we now have to honor people who are ungodly people.
They want you to be ashamed of your accomplishment.
Right. Ashamed of your faith, ashamed of your country, ashamed of your heritage, ashamed of your family, whatever. And, you have to feel guilty because we have 6 children. Oh, you're a breeder. Why would you? Germany's like that. Germany, if you have more, they used to look at us and any foreigner that had more than 2 children, something's wrong with you. Why would you have all those? Because they've been conditioned to think that way. It's crazy.
Latinos aren't infected with that. The Hindus aren't infected with that.
That's why
largely the Africans aren't infected.
Hispanics are going to eventually become the largest population in America. And then once they decide they want to take over, they can. They have the power. Unless we overrun them with Eastern Europeans and Asians and Africans.
Well, the whole I'm sorry for living and reproducing, you know what? Maybe you deserve your judgment. Because I think, God, who's the creator of us all, say, you know what? I'd rather go with the people who are proud of being alive and proud of humanity and proud of creation. And I'm with them. I can see God saying that. You who are guilty for being alive and, the carbon, and it's crazy.
Yeah, we are now, today's show is going to go up there into the annals of the Tulsa world as being a right-wing, radical, conservative.
I haven't even gotten started.
Bigoted program. And these, it's so funny to me, like when they attacked me last year, when I was running, or 2 years ago now. Wow, it's crazy. But anyway, when that happened, they know nothing about me. They don't know where I came from, how I grew up. That I lived in the hood, in the projects. I lived in the Black communities. I was in a gang. I did all these things that they seem to not want to hold against other people.
No, one newspaper did sat with you a couple hours in here.
Yeah, but they acted like it when it came out. It was still negative.
Oh yeah, they still had their bias, but at least they sat down to listen to you.
Well, yeah, they did. That's true. And they were. You could tell. It's so funny because you could tell that their whole impression changed, but the narrative, they left out everything that spoke to who I really am, and it came across as something totally different. Yeah, that's how bad the media is. It's Eddie, just foul.
Next time you run, they will use this show to say you didn't condemn David Van's words. Okay, I'm warning you.
What were your words?
I haven't spoken them yet.
So
I'm triggered, Eddie.
So I'm supposed to. So what's coming up?
Yes,
I need to say something negative about it.
You disavow yourself if you want to stay in the good graces of the Tulsa world. In that bunch,
and the Oklahoma Eagle.
Yes.
Well, okay. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
The things spoken on this program are not necessarily reflective of the opinions of Eddie Huff, and are solely the opinion of the speaker. Okay, go ahead.
So I got on Amazon because I do order a number of things there, and I do use subscribe and save on some. And they've got these headings across the top: apparel, groceries, whatever, electronics. And then there's one, Black-owned businesses. Oh, like you want to pick that. How about white-owned businesses?
Well, you're a bigot. You can't do that.
But it's okay for,
of course,
Jeff Bezos, who's whiter than me, to kiss up to Black-owned business.
To make money off
off of guilt.
I don't know. I do have to say this. I don't think it's a matter of guilt with Jeff Bezos. It's a matter of green.
It's kiss up, yeah.
It's money.
Yeah, but I will not watch, for the most part, Black entertainment television because they're basically saying, if you're white, you're banned from here. Now, what happens when there's even a rumor that somebody was denied an NFL coaching job because he is black, or not given an interview, or not allowed to audition for a part in a movie because they're not the color that the director wants?
Yeah, it's like Snow White suddenly becomes Snow Black.
Yeah.
And a black, and then the girl who played her, the black, and she wasn't even all black. I think she was mixed. But anyway, she has nerve enough to get on there and attack the people who are attacking her. Yeah. About the role. And come on.
I asked a wealthy white woman, client of mine at the time. We were just talking after I finished doing some work at their house, and she mentioned and she made the comment, this white trash. I said, white what? What's white trash? I says, is that like black trash? Because they wouldn't say that about black people, that they're trash. But it's okay to say white people are trash. This wealthy white woman.
PWT, yeah.
So this is the problem we have, folks. Well, there is so much guilt being imposed on us.
It's like Robert Byrd. Niggers ain't always colored people. Remember? Yeah. Robert Byrd's famous words. And it's so funny because Barack Obama came to his defense. These people are they're just ridiculous. I mean, and those who...
Would he come to Jesse Helms' defense?
No, he wouldn't.
Of course not, because it's about politics.
Right. And the sad thing is you got these people that are dupes that want to be loved so much. And like John 16 was the apostle say in there that they will hate you and try to kill you, and they will think they're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. Don't let it get you down, because they will hate you. They hate the world, and they love the world, and they hate you because you're standing up against the world.
Yeah.
So it's Christians, we need to wake up. You need to wake up and quit playing this game. I don't care. I always say I'm on a downer. I used to say I have 30 years and counting down.
Oh, yeah?
I'm at 25 now. The countdown has moved on. So listen, I have 25 years left. My kids are grown. My kids are doing well. My wife and I, we're doing fine. There's nothing you can do to me. I just have to be faithful to what God shows me. And I'm going to tell the truth, as Oprah would say, the truth as I see it. The truth as I know it.
Yeah. So, speaking of Jeff Bezos,
okay,
he bought the Washington Post,
right,
and has had a big time slaughter of just fired. Was it 300 reporters? 300. Look, this isn't any different than I'm seeing newspapers all over. They've destroyed their own credibility. Right. And now they're a bad investment, and he has lost so much money. And as with CBS firing all of their people, he finally realizes that all of America is not like MSNBC. All of America does not buy the crap that is being sold by mainstream television, as you would say. So Bezos decided, I'm not doing this anymore. I want good journalism. And if you can't give me good, unbiased, clean journalism, see ya. Okay, now, I have not heard that commitment that's what he's after.
Well, that's the articles that I'm reading, that's why everybody's mad at him, because he's fired all of these right-wing.
So 3 months ago, CBS had their bloodletting, and they brought in actually somebody who founded a website you love, Free Press, right? And this woman's a lesbian married to another woman. she comes from the New York Times, but she at least could read what was going on and realize, okay, we need objective news.
She left the New York Times because she couldn't put up with it anymore.
Right.
That's what happened. It was too bad for her.
She's a lesbian and can't put up with it. Because somewhere deep in her soul, there is that yearning for, I've got to be truthful. And CBS is turning around. It really is. Now, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Because you know what, folks? Don't trust them until they earn your trust.
Right.
But there is that opportunity.
You still have some holdouts there, but yeah, it is.
In print media, because I don't think the New York Times will ever get it.
Probably not. And, of course, it seems as though the mainstream media doesn't seem to want to get it. The other ones, like ABC and NBC and with these nighttime guys.
Right.
If CBS, I think they have done it because basically, what's his name? The guy who's now Colbert.
Yeah.
I think he's on the last year of his contract anyway. Mm-hmm. So once he's gone, they're done. Mm-hmm. And then he can go drift off somewhere, okay? And I think what's going to happen, and Jimmy Fallon, to be fair, he's no right-wing conservative, but at least of the three late night hosts, he's the one that's the most unbiased. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's still a bit unbiased, but if he really wanted to build his audience, he would get rid of all of that. He would just start covering guests and not go for the farthest left wing guests you can find. And he would then replace, who's number one? Gutfeld. Fox, you got to have a subscription to Fox News or be a cable subscriber to get him, but he's still outperforming all three of the late night guys.
Okay, here's another one. Real America's Voice just brought out a new guy for their 10 p.m. slot Central Time, 11 Eastern, brought on Alex Stein. And he is a hilariously funny guy. The problem that Alex Stein faces right now is low budget. They need good production for that.
Yeah, I've noticed that about, was it Real America?
Real America's Voice.
Real America's Voice, yeah. I've noticed that. And same with, what is it, O&E?
ONN.
ONN, yeah. Their programs are still,
or
the production. OAN, thank you.
Yeah.
One American Network, yeah. But their production is lacking. You can see the difference in the quality. But they'll get there. Newsmax has moved from one of them up into now, when you look at it.
Similar to Fox, I've got some problems with them.
With Newsmax?
Yeah, with money and stuff, you can be corrupted. And the Jewish lobby has totally taken over them to the point where they're constantly in the drumbeat of trashing Tucker Carlson. And now they even went after, is it the Heritage Foundation, for them not trashing Tucker Carlson. And by the way, they don't have a problem with Tucker. What they're trashing for is that he's not trashing Nick Fuentes. Think of this, folks. They want to replace the head of the Heritage Foundation because he won't trash Tucker, for Tucker not trashing Nick Fuentes, for Nick Fuentes not having the right language. Now, I disagree with Nick on some things. He tends to group people into tribes and then judge them by the tribe they're from. And Tucker condemned that too. He did to his face on the show, but that wasn't enough. And so what happens is Newsmax, you got this Catholic and Jewish cabal that is going to destroy anybody who gets away from their narrative.
Yeah, but you don't get that between 6 and 9 p.m.
Some you do. Rob Schmidt just a week ago went after Tucker.
Okay.
And I don't think that's coming from his heart.
Well, that's true, but that may be true. But I think Tucker, some of that is self-inflicted wounds. Some of the things he's done and said have given an impression that he's now gone off in La La Land. I mean,
I want evidence.
Okay, I will bring it to you.
Yeah.
I don't have time right now, but next time, tune in next Saturday when Eddie and Dave get into
Tucker this week talked about. Well, he actually had as a guest the Archbishop of Jerusalem for the was it the Armenian Church? I think it was. Or maybe it's the Greek Orthodox.
Probably Greek Orthodox.
Yeah. And just talking about the plight of Christians. Now, Christian Broadcasting Network, some 20 years ago, talked about Jewish believers, Messianic Jews.
Right.
Ethnically, they are Jewish heritage.
But they believe
in Jesus. Right. And their worship style is more of a combining of the Jewish culture and heritage and traditions and stuff. But how they were being persecuted in the government of Israel, not coming to their aid because it was Hasidics who were vandalizing their building, disrupting their worship service. They're in a baptism. So, CBN actually talked about it. What Tucker is saying, we got all this effort on Newsmax. Boy, they buy a lot of ads to try to get Christians to give relief money for people of Jewish heritage, and not necessarily in Israel. Russia include. And where are the Christian ministers to say, hey, to the Christians who are suffering in Gaza or on the West Bank, or, that what shouldn't be happening?
Gaza's an easy answer. The Palestinian Authority won't let the aid get to those Christians in Gaza. So that there is a difference there. Now, as far as, and those ads, they really get me that, and I believe that it's really like that. You have these poor, and I don't think necessarily it's only Jews, but to see the conditions these older, they're almost always women, but these older women are under.
It's emotional.
It is. It's like the dogs, SPCA commercials with these chained up dogs in a blizzard or whatever. But anyway, so I don't have a problem with them wanting to give money to Jews in Russia or Albania, wherever they might be. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would say is if they're ignoring the plight of Christians but see, that's something I would really like to know. What is the poverty rate in Israel? Is there a poverty rate in Israel?
Yeah, and what Alex Stein, last night's show, he started with this video of a leftist, woke leftist, I forget what Eastern city it was, but it's downtown, and he was saying, we've got to stand with Ukraine, we got to give more aid to Ukraine, we got to help. And the reporter comes up to him, is talking to him, and then brings over a homeless guy. He said, this guy doesn't have anything. Do you think we should first make sure the homeless here, the hungry here? Oh, no, he wasn't interested in that. It was Ukrainians. We get so selective.
Yeah, but again, see, I've got to take the other side again. How
am I shocked that you take the other side?
That's what makes our show. I know. If I'm just a yes man and you're a yes man, then
you're right.
It's no man. But anyway, see, this is the issue we have here in Tulsa, right?
Yeah.
Who are the truly needy homeless? Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many of these so-called homeless people that have been offered to come to John 3:16, Salvation Army, et cetera, and they don't want to do it because they have rules. Mm-hmm. They don't want to follow the rules, right? No drugs, no this, no that. And so
a lot of them, no pets.
Right. No pets.
That's a challenge.
And see, a lot of them, their pets, we always want to paint the pretty picture. We want to say, oh, these poor people, the dog is all they have. He's an emotional support animal. No, what he is, he's an emotional support to give you the emotions to support him out there asking for money. Because you're going to think, oh, he's got a dog. He loves animals. Let me go ahead and give him because he'll feed the dog. And there's this one black guy I see walking around all the time, and he's got these dogs, two of them following. One's limping, half dead, and the leashes are dragging on the ground, and there's two of them. They just follow this guy. It's like he could care less about them.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's an example of somebody who's just using the animals to try to get mainly women to have compassion and give him some money, right?
I agree.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, you've got to look at, I mean, I tell you what's really crazy. One of the ladies that is on that Russian commercial is poor Russian Jewish lady.
Yeah.
She looks just like my grandmother.
Yeah.
You know, and I picture my grandmother, that being my grandmother, because
these poor Nazi widows.
Well, she was an anti-Nazi, but
I know.
But she was a poor German.
I know, but we don't want to say that, you know, where she's from and where she served in the military, because it's all about emotion.
That was my mother. That was my grandmother, actually. My mother told me a story when she was about 10. They were out on the street selling these anti-Nazi party papers. And the Gestapo drove up, poured lighter fluid on and burned all of her newspapers. And my grandmother just stood there, and my mom was.
Your grandmother's more courageous than most Americans I know.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, but she never had anything. It was weird. And I remember one time my mother thought she bought her some new drapes for her little place, okay? Mm-hmm. And she said, and my grandmother says, "Why do I need new drapes?" And my mother got mad and tore them down. All right, keep those old stinking, and just throw them on the ground. That was my mother. She would just boom in a minute, and she just got.
Now I know where you get it from, Eddie.
She was mad. She was mad that her mother wasn't appreciative of her getting new drapes. But all she was asking, but I don't need new drapes. Mine are perfectly fine, But see, in her mind, my mother always had ambitions.
Yeah.
Because she grew up poor, very poor. And so she always thought certain things give you a better status and make you feel better or whatever. And my grandma said, "I don't need new curtains," and it made my mom mad. But anyway, this lady looks like my grandmother. So when I see that, now I don't trust necessarily that ministry, because I've read some things that they've, the money is not exactly, it's not the most.
Well, Mike Huckabee's getting a cut out of it.
You think so? Yeah.
Oh gosh, the ads he does for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the main one, I mean, I like, what's her name? Yako something.
Yeah. I think she's the daughter of the guy who started
I think he must have died or
too old to do anything.
Yeah.
And then they got this guy that looks like Billy Graham.
Oh, see, I like her. When she does it, those are good commercials. When that guy gets on, it just reminds me of this friend used to call him shag leg preachers, which is like, not to be trusted.
I don't know if I want to know what that means.
She should have just remained doing them herself, I think.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
sorry, we got diverted there, but go on.
Yeah, it's this white guilt is really a problem, and you and I'm still taking stock of just how much we become cowed and timid. And Eddie, I want to shake this off. I am proud of my multinational European heritage.
Multinational white heritage.
Yeah, European. And I'm sick of apologizing. I'm sick of feeling like, well, I can't be just as proud of my heritage as a Ugandan is of theirs, or, a Argentinian is of theirs. We should, don't apologize for being who you are. You can't change how you came in this world.
I'm proud of the 17 ethnicities that I have coursing through my veins.
Yeah. 17. Wow.
try to dissect that. I had a secretary, okay, and she's a white Hispanic, okay, and so she had one of these, what is it, Ancestry.com or when
I did that
blood
too,
test, you send it in and it comes back. And I bet you probably, I made me think it may be a scam. But anyway, she comes in, oh, guess what? I'm 10% Nigerian. Mm-hmm. I said, come on. I was just cracking up. Now, how are her people going to be Nigerian, with all the European and then Indian, American Indian,
right.
Native American in her. But all of a sudden, she's got 10% African in her.
That's true, because I'm 100% Native American. I am. All of me is born in America. So, yeah, because look, I am sick of that crap too.
Yeah.
Because look, our government refers to the North American tribes as just that. North American tribes. That's your heritage. Now, Ancestry does not list your nationalities. They list your ethnic, tribal, bloodline. Yeah. By the way, I can't hear it.
You can now.
There we go. So anyway, so they'll show this kind of a Normandy and Welsh and Southern Anglo as one tribal bloodline. Well, I think they're a little bit offended at that. It's kind of like my Norwegian friend who hates it when I call him Swedish, because Norwegians and Swedish are too alike that they can't get along.
Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah. And so anyway, so that's going on, and that's my rant. And I'm sorry, folks. You aren't going to get my business by saying you're Black owned or Latino owned or anything. You're more likely not to get my business because you tried to appeal to me by a racist initiative.
So what you need for Dave's business is put a big Confederate flag in the window.
God, listen.
No, it's funny because my mother always talked about her having French. Mm. She's French. And I was thought, you're just a kraut. You're just a Nazi. So you're just a German kraut. But anyway, and then so I was reading up on it, and the part of Nuremberg is the capital of Franconia. Yeah. And Franconia is basically, it's French.
Franc.
Yeah. It's a French, it'd be like French county. Mm. And so anyway, so this whole area in Nuremberg was like the capital of Franconia. And so I was reading it, and when Charlemagne ruled, that his rule ended up all the way there. And so that's where it was a part of France. Mm-hmm. And so I always thought, well, I have to apologize to my mother. I thought she was just making this stuff up.
Yeah, no, the French Empire.
Bad info.
In fact, as recent as 200 years ago, Napoleon's empire went way into Germany. Germany, as we know it today, was kind of split left and right between the Austrian Empire and the Napoleon Empire.
Right. But see, that's what actually, right. And that's what started the wars in that there was some disputed territory between France and Germany. Mm-hmm. What's funny, though, those towns up there in the northern, along the border of Germany.
The Rhine?
No, Rhine goes the other way, north and south. But this was so anyway. But those towns, the people speak German. Yeah. And the same with Czechoslovakia, that the people speak German. Mm-hmm. And so in Austria, it's all German. And so Hitler was just basically saying, I'm taking back the German part of this. And then those borders kept going back. Same with Czech. It was German, and then it became Czech, and then Czechoslovakia, and then German, back and forth. Mm-hmm. And so, it's turf war. It's turf war. And then Hitler couldn't be happy with the turf. He wanted the world. Yeah. And that's where he made his mistake. If he'd have stopped with Poland and Czechoslovakia, Hitler might still be, or his posterity might be ruling Germany today. But he got greedy and decided he wanted more and more, and then he offended Stalin. and they got into it, and then decided to attack Holland and England, and that was it. It was just Hitler against the world, which was stupid.
Yeah. There's a warning being issued by, what's the guy's name? Pretty well-known law school professor.
Not Dershowitz.
No. Younger guy in D.C. based, I think Georgetown, but kind of a warning to Minneapolis, because they largely had this autonomous zone at certain times and places. In fact, James O'Keefe talked about cops are not responding, and he had to flee for his life.
Islamic area.
No, it's just wherever
Minneapolis.
The protesters there have just kind of ruled the streets.
Kind of like Seattle.
Exactly. He said Seattle had set up this autonomous zone called CHOP, right? A 16-year-old child died in that zone.
16-year-old or 16-month?
16-year-old died.
Okay. When you say child, or young for a teenager.
Yeah.
Okay.
Died there this summer of 2020. Police did not respond to a call because, well, that's the autonomous zone. Police were intimidated and refused to provide that kind of.
Is it a Somalian area? That autonomous zone?
No, because the protesters are largely not Somalian in Minneapolis.
Right.
They're a bunch of guilt-ridden white liberals.
Okay.
And they just are taking over the streets wherever.
So they've got all kinds of issues.
Because they'll follow ICE around to where they think ICE is and all this.
Okay.
So get this. The 16-year-old died 5 years ago in 5.5 years ago in Seattle. Their family sued.
In Seattle? Again?
In Seattle.
Okay, so now we moved to Seattle. Okay.
No, I'm trying to. Let me finish and then. So, as a warning to Minneapolis, this law school professor brings up this lawsuit that just settled in Seattle, a judgment over a similar autonomous zone in Seattle.
Now I got you.
Where the city now has to pay a $30 million judgment to that family for violating the civil rights, the 14th Amendment rights of equal protection, because they refused to govern the area where the taxpayers expected it. There should be. And what happened to James O'Keefe, what's happened to several other people, there can be no end to the lawsuits, because now we have a pretty clear precedent in the courts. And the courts tend to go by precedent. When you're doing a court case, they want you to bring up similar cases and how they're adjudicated and the principles behind it. So Minneapolis could end up devastatingly broke over this. And keep in mind, Minneapolis is, as a population, is only about the size of Tulsa.
Wow. It's
all the suburbs around it that makes the metropolitan area so big. St. Paul be big, Brooklyn, Edina, Eden Prairie, all those places around it. I mean, it's amazing. I lived in several of them, Golden Valley. I mean, there's just so many, Minnetonka, Tonka Toys. That started in Minnetonka. So anyway, my brother used to work for Tonka as a toy designer. Well, anyway, so Minneapolis does not have the kind of budget. They are over, I think they're like 1,000 short of their staffing their police force, and New York's even worse, So this is a warning. Leftist cities, your leftist policies will bankrupt your city in the courts.
Yeah, that mayor of Minneapolis, you could tell he's paid. Those millions of dollars that came in and Omar was able to get for them. And what's happened. That they paid this mayor and people off.
And we should be outraged because Medicaid payments, which a lot of them, like the non-emergency medical transport, the AFDC stuff where, the learning
child care center, right.
And that's mostly federal funds. States have to match a certain percentage, but it's a small percentage.
Right.
Most of that's federal funds. And, well, that brings me to another thing, the SAVE Act. About 70 to 80%, depending on how you word the survey, 70 to 80% of Americans support some basic kind of an ID requirement in order to vote.
Right.
And the majority of black folks.
Yeah.
The one segment, I can't hear you, by the way. The one segment of the population that is adamantly against it is leftist governing officials.
Mm-hmm.
They're against it because they're the ones that are going to suffer.
Right.
You know, the old adage.
You can't cheat anymore.
You throw a brick at a pack of dogs, it's the one that got hit that does the yelping. We just found out who's doing the yelping because I think what's going to happen in our Senate is this famous filibuster rule that to cut off debate, you need 60 votes. It's about to die. And so that's probably going to be necessary to pass this in the Senate, but it's going to put a federal requirement that states must require a photo ID. Voter ID. And like in Minneapolis, you can register to vote at the polling place.
Oh, yeah. Same day voting it's ridiculous. And what they require isn't even, some necessarily legitimate document. Now, I don't know how it is there, but I know some ones I've seen, they don't require a passport, driver's license.
My mother just says, bring a utility bill, come down and vote.
That's all you
she was a judge, for her precinct. Mm-hmm. And my niece is now as well. So, these are the kinds of things that could radically change things if we get them passed this year in time for the November election.
Yeah.
So that's going on. And, I do have a local issue. Yeah. Of course, we had snow that stuck around for about 10 days. And we have...
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This might fit into what you're saying. Did it need to stay around for 10 days? Or did it stay around for 10 days because of budgetary concerns? In other words...
Well, you're referring to what's on the streets.
Right. How are we fiscally standing right now in the city of Tulsa with the new mayor?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. But the mayor is clearly, always watching his priorities versus the money he has to spend.
Right.
Here's one of the things he did. Eddie, my wife has some physical disabilities and she has handicap parking and that, and stuff. We also, we pay out of our pocket. This is not a government handout. We pay extra for what's called backyard pickup of our trash. Now, in reality, our trash is kind of in a fenced off area of our front yard, only about 25, 30 feet from the curb. Okay. And we pay extra. It's like $7 extra a month on our utility bill. But for me, it's nice. I don't have to go pick up trash cans that are blowing in the street, knocked over, hit by cars and that. But a week ago, they came by and just skipped my house. And they're looping around the cul-de-sac. I went out there and I pointed to mine trash can. Like, hey, I have backyard service. It wasn't out at the street. But these guys are supposed to know that. They actually have a GPS app thing that tells them, okay, here you got to go to the backyard and find the cart. So anyway, I called the city, mayor's action line, they used to call it, and said, hey, they didn't pick up my trash. Well, did you have it at the curb? I said, no, I pay a good amount extra for it. Well, no, you have to have it at the curb this week. I said, why? Well, because of the weather. I said, when did you notify me this? Well, it's on our website. I said, so I'm supposed to know by just magically, hey, I need to go to the Tulsa website. Well, we sent it to the news media as well.
Well, and generally the people who need backyard service don't have a computer. They may not, elderly,
they're less likely
elderly shut-ins that aren't,
Yeah, no, some people do it just for the convenience. They don't have to worry about, oh, did you set the trash out? And early on, that was my motivation. But now, with my wife being at home, but limited in what she could do, that's not going to do it. And I said, why didn't you send an email out? Oh, we're not set up for that. Eddie, you and I filled out forms to no end, right? You go to the doctors, anybody you go to, they always ask for your email. Mm-hmm. The city could simply have set up an auto program that when we can't do backyard trash, that we send out a notice to them. Mm-hmm. If they don't read their email, it's on them. Here's the thing. The people who are less capable of putting their trash out and are paying extra, it's not a welfare program. Right. Screw them. That's the Monroe administration as it's affected me. Very few things have affected me. And you and I have talked to Monroe multiple times. I think Monroe needs to fix this. That's free advice, Monroe.
That's just one of the things he needs to fix. I mean, but see, that's the problem. It's like Mandani in New York City. Mm-hmm. Eventually, all of those things that the pie in the sky, things he was offering and he was going to do, when they don't start happening, people are going to say, well, wait a minute, you basically lied to us. Well, I didn't really lie. We just haven't been able to get to them yet. Yeah, you're lying. You're basically
He's a Napoleon class politician. Now, Napoleon Dynamite. Remember Pedro? Said vote for Pedro. All your dreams will come true. How about that? The ultimate campaign promise.
All your dreams will come true.
So anyway, but the SAVE Act, I just did want to say one more thing about it. It's overwhelmingly popular. And I think it's going to be that game changer if the Republicans play this right. This could really drive a wedge between the people, even minorities, even, somewhat on the fence left people. It's going to put a wedge between them and their leftist politicians. By the way, softball started. Women's college softball, my favorite college sport, just about. Football still is, but
wimp.
Yeah. So your Texas Tech is number 2 rated in the nation.
Texas one?
Texas number 1.
But they just did in the order of how they finished.
Yeah. That's their starting out. Number 3 is OU. OU took on last night or yesterday a Big 12 team, Arizona. Got spanked.
Really?
Arizona's ranked number 21.
Wow.
And OU lost him. Now, it was on the road, and it's early in that. But you know what? It's just as early in the season for Arizona as it is for OU. And it was 11-6.
It's funny because when the Big 12, when OU and Texas left, and we took on the Pac-12 teams, and Cincinnati, and then, of course, Central Florida. Mm-hmm. And everybody said, oh, why would they pick those teams? They're not. But it's because of basketball. Houston, is up there. Arizona is another one.
Yep.
In fact, I think Arizona's
number one.
They're number one in NCAA basketball. And even Arizona State, it's interesting, Brigham Young, Utah.
Yeah.
It's like these schools are coming up and because we're so football focused, mm-hmm. we forget about the NCAA has more than football and basketball.
Right.
And these other sports, particularly the women's sports.
Yes.
Women's soccer, volleyball, mm-hmm. basketball.
Yeah.
All these
women's college volleyball. Yeah.
Gymnastics is huge.
Huge. So anyway, Oklahoma State's number 19. Now, remember, OU lost to the number 21 team.
Right.
So I think OSU, and certainly, Texas Tech is, I think you're going to have a great season in Big 12 softball. The women, and it's, folks, if you aren't watching it, you just need to.
Yeah,
it's a lot more enjoyable than college baseball.
Oh no, I actually got into. My wife said, "What are you watching that for?" I said, "Well, because I like it." I watch women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing about basketball, the women play like the men used to play.
Mm.
See, they're not like too much of the men's game is slam dunking or shooting from half court and stuff, you know, whereas the women are still passing and trying to get in and lay up and everything. So it's back to more of a pure game than just showboating, and the NBA is just ridiculous. I just can't bring myself to watch an NBA game. There's this video clip of LeBron James. I couldn't believe it. They keep showing it. Anyway, he gets this ball passed to him, and he's at half court. Mm-hmm. And from half court, he runs all the way to the basket and slam dunks it.
No dribbling?
No dribble. He never dribbled one time. Just ran. I think it only took him 4 steps, but still, the ball never hit the ground. He has his change in hands, getting himself ready to go in and do this.
Oh, God, yeah.
But he literally went all the way from half court to the bucket and slammed it, and the referees gave him the bucket.
Oh, my God.
They didn't call anything. Yeah, that's what people are just, poor guy, they're just making fun of him because he's just not Michael Jordan.
Oh, no.
He's got these stats and everything where, you know, his fans want to make him a Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He's not Michael Jordan. He's just, there's something different because, well, one thing, it's all about Michael. Mm-hmm. I bet you cannot name one of his teammates.
Oh, yeah. Dennis Rodman.
No, I'm not talking, I'm saying LeBron.
Oh, LeBron, yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I was going to say. That's the difference. You can, Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. Steve Curry.
Rodman, Steve Kerr, who's turned out to be the most far left-wing liberal.
Oh, he's nuts.
He is.
He's lost all sense.
Yeah, he's just bad. Him and the San Antonio coach. Those two. That's all they ever do. You see them in the news spouting this left-wing.
So let's talk about the halftime show.
Oh, okay.
So tomorrow's Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And of course, it was announced 4 months ago that some guy named Bad Bunny, a Puerto Rican, was picked
who hates America.
Hates America, even though he's an American citizen. Yeah. You know, and because all Puerto Rican citizens are American citizens, it's territory. And he says, you got 4 months to learn Latino, Spanish, because I'm not doing it in American,
right,
and all that. And now that Turning Point has launched an alternative halftime show starring Kid Rock and a few others. I looked at it. It's a great bunch of performers. Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, got on this week press conference to talk about the importance of the halftime show to unite us all. Roger Goodell is full of himself. Uniting us all means you all get in line with my values. That's really.
See, I wonder if Jane Skinner hasn't affected him. She used to be a Fox News reporter, and that's his wife now.
Oh, okay.
They got married.
Yeah.
And you see her and him together at these different functions and games. But I have to wonder if she didn't have an effect on it. And yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's silly that you are going to ignore. Well, no, it's silly in if you are a patriot. Okay, if you're an America First person.
Yeah. From
their point of view.
No, you don't mean New England Patriots.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Although I am rooting for the Patriot. Yeah. But anyway, but what they're trying to do, it's all about money. It's all about money. They're trying to increase their appeal in the Hispanic market. All of Central and South America, you've got Spain across the pond. And so Philippines, all these countries speak Spanish. Mm-hmm. And so he's trying to just broaden the reach of the NFL mm-hmm. to be the international sport. What he's really going after is replacing soccer as the world sport. Mm-hmm. And, it might eventually get there, but it's going to be a while. Soccer is still king. And so we'll see. America, they suck. play. And it's not because we don't have good athletes. It's because of the way we treat the game, or especially bring up the youth. Whereas in Europe, you don't have high school and college soccer. You just play for your club. And so you don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to class. You just play soccer. And I mean, you have to go to school, but a lot of them only go through the 8th grade, and then they have a 1 day in the 9th grade, the Volksschule. And then from there, then all they do is play soccer.
So club sports is separated from your academics.
Right. They don't have any school sports.
Well, in fact, a friend of mine from England had mentioned to me about fine arts as well, music. It's just not part of the curriculum in England.
Right.
You have to go to a studio to learn any music, vocal, instrumental, whatever.
Right.
And he happened to like the fact that we integrate it in our school system. I'm kind of both ways. If you're serious about it, you aren't going to just take whatever the school gives you.
Right.
You're going to invest a lot more into it than that.
Right. You get private, like my grandkids, 2 of my grandkids, they have piano lessons.
Yeah.
And they started like in the 3rd grade getting piano lessons.
That's when my son started piano lessons, and then joined a boy choir that was down at the Presbyterian Church downtown. And went from there. And believe it or not, I bought a software package that we were able to hook up our Casio keyboard to the computer, and he learned how to program MIDIs. And that's how he learned composing songs. Right. And so, and some of it is just parents, you invest in yourself, your kid will have a huge advantage. Mm-hmm. I mean, my dad never went out in the backyard and played catch with me. Neighborhood kids did with their dads. Mm-hmm. I was always behind in sports. So it's a lot of it is, investment of your parents now.
Right. But see, the thing about that is not everybody needs to get their kids to be in sports. Like, for example, in North Tulsa, okay? Mm-hmm. I started this North Tulsa Soccer League about 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so we had these kids that never played, and we went up through the 5th grade.
Yeah.
And some of these kids were really talented, really mm-hmm. good, but you had parents that would tell you, well, we're only doing this a few years because he's going to play football. Mm-hmm. They're looking for that scholarship. Mm-hmm. So some of the best athletes you're not going to get ever to play soccer because they really want to make it in football.
Yeah.
And so, or basketball even. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the handicaps in America. But what they need to do is, just get rid of high school soccer in particular. School mm-hmm. Football you still can because everything's so ingrained. Yeah. But for soccer, what they need to do is let the kids go to clubs mm-hmm. and do their club soccer.
Yeah, no, when it comes to fine arts, for instance, I think you get rid of the instrumental fine arts because, I mean, let's face it, which of those instruments in the school marching band are you going to be able to continue on?
All of them. Into college. If you're good at it, you get
college isn't real life.
No, I know, but what I'm saying, and this is the thing that
I think it's even more worthless in college.
Not to the kids that get the scholarship.
Well, see, that's what
it is.
That's artificial. Then
it may be, but it's so ingrained that my kid is going to get a music scholarship to go to OU.
And that's why people don't innovate.
Yeah.
They get stuck in how it used to be 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
100 years ago, marching band was it.
Yeah, let's put it this way. You're not going to get your Grammy Award winners that were in the marching band.
Yeah, that's just it.
They're the guys that were at somebody's house playing the guitar and learning and wanting to start a band.
The 2 things you couldn't get in my high school, instruments you couldn't play, guitar and piano. Mm-hmm. They did have drums, but not a drum set.
Right.
And But the only one, and you used to see the ska bands about 30 years ago, where the saxophone players and that was the marching band kids trying to move over into pop music. And you had what was called ska, and really, Chicago, the early days of the group Chicago, they had horns.
Right.
Violin, no, you're not going to get in that school. No. What's his name? Robbie Steinberg, Kansas had a violinist.
Well, actually, my favorite band, probably of all of them, ELO, Electric Light Orchestra.
Oh God, yeah.
They always have an orchestra playing with them, and man, those violins, those strings are what sets them apart from everybody else.
Let me say this: you've got your band music group as it's marketed. Like, do you really think there were only 4 people in the group ABBA? They had a whole orchestra.
The production.
Yeah. Right. I mean, even on touring, there were other people, but they weren't center stage with all the spotlights. It was the 2 hot chicks and then the keyboardist and the guitar.
Yeah, it's interesting because to me, one of my favorite concerts ever, my freshman year at Tech, was the Supremes. And this was post Diana Ross. Okay. Mary Wilson actually led them.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most phenomenal performances I ever saw. Mm-hmm. But Motown used to send a small orchestra with them.
Yep.
They had the rhythm section, and then they had some strings in there.
Right.
And so you'd have these like 15 people that traveled with the Supremes. Right. And they had a conductor even. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, it was different.
But those were contracted musicians, much like a studio musician.
Yeah.
They weren't part of the group.
Right. They weren't the Supremes.
Right. And so what I'm saying is, if you want to start a band or anything, playing the oboe isn't going to get you a pop music record.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I'm saying our whole fine arts instrumental program from elementary school through universities, I think, is out of touch with the culture.
That's one of the things I think that separates Epic from the other schools, because what Epic does, they give you money to hire a private
to go to a studio, whether it's ballet, dance, or whether it's going to be any kind of fine arts, vocals, any of that. And so it just 100 years ago, my hometown, down at the park downtown, there was a bandstand. Because this is the day before you had all the amplifiers and everything.
Was it an American bandstand?
No, it was actually like this big gazebo, and they actually screened it in and everything. But still in the 60s, we go there and we listen to brass bands, orchestra, like, the Benny Goodman Orchestra.
It reminds me of the movie Music Man.
Yeah.
And they would play in the middle of the town, like in a town square.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a real thing. They really.
Very much. And even into the mid 20th century, it was still a big thing. Eventually by the end of the 60s, it was done. But people used to go down there the summer evenings and listen to music like that. But that's where we were before we had radio and TV and stereo systems and amplifiers and stuff. And all of a sudden, Eddie, your generation with rock music, and it just, said, no, we ain't doing what mom and dad did.
You just triggered something in my mind, which is very relevant. So, Grammy Award winner, Billie Eilish.
Oh, God.
You heard this? You know where I'm going?
Yeah.
Billie is very anti-American, basically. Yeah. She's another she's making mint off of it, Anyway, and so she was talking about Native Americans and how we stole their land of the Native American and everything. Well, there's a tribe in California which has said, we thank her for doing that. So would she want to give her mansion and the land she lives on back to this tribe because it's this tribal land that she's living on, and it's a multi-million-dollar mansion that she has on tribal land. So they basically called her bluff. They said, okay, so if you say we're on stolen land and we should give the land back, how about you begin by giving us yours back?
Which brings home, Eddie, your famous person you always quote, Malcolm X warned the black folk. Who's your biggest enemy?
The liberal Democrat.
White liberals. Mm-hmm. White liberals. Billie Eilish is an enemy. And they need to realize it. She's exploiting them.
Yeah. Yeah. She's trying to use them to make a point, make herself bigger. And they're calling her on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't open your mouth and say something stupid that you're not around. I mean, you're not willing to give up on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a dingbat. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, sure. They all are. I mean, it's just, she can't decide what color her hair is this week, that kind of stuff, it's just, yeah, Frankie Schaefer, who's turned into a fruitcake himself, but he wrote this book years ago.
He used to be pretty sharp.
Yeah. Called Addicted to Mediocrity. And that is an example of being addicted to mediocrity. That's what these people are, addicted to mediocrity. So
tomorrow night, Sunday night, at about 8:00, there are a number of places you'll be able to watch this all-American halftime show. And it's starring Kid Rock and a few others. Real America's Voice, which is a streaming channel. You can pick it up on there. I guess Rumble is going to be carrying it. Now, what the folks at Turning Point said, because they have the rights to this is their production. And because artists that are covered by ASCAP and BMI
have to get paid.
Yes, they get royalties. You're only allowed to grant a certain number of licenses. He said that's been a challenge. And I think Rumble was one of the licenses they decided to grant. And I don't know who else. Oh, TBN. Trinity Broadcasting Network. They're on a lot of cable networks. That'll be another one. So there's a number of places you can watch it.
I think Newsmax is doing it.
Yeah, they may have been granted another one as well. So anyway, folks, make a statement. Make a statement with your viewership. It's not going to cost you anything. I'm
going to make a statement by now watching the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah. And what I will do, I will watch the replay.
Yeah,
I'm a Patriot fan. I've liked the Patriots back to Tom Brady.
Yeah,
and the Chiefs kind of replaced. I have three teams. It's San Francisco, New England, and the Chiefs. Not necessarily in that order, but those teams I am always excited to be in the Super Bowl. I wasn't real happy when the Chiefs had to play the 49ers.
Yeah.
Because I don't know which one. Yeah. But anyway, it's this year I don't have that problem. It's Seattle. Although there is a really good story about the coach of Seattle. The coach of Seattle, he was a college coach, but he was never a head coach. He was an assistant coach, and he kept getting picked over. They'd always pick somebody else.
Yeah.
He was at Alabama, I think, last. And anyway, for many years he was there, actually. But people always pick somebody else. Well, he's a good college coach, but And finally, he got his chance at Seattle.
Wow.
And we're seeing the results. I mean,
I'm just glad Pete Carroll's gone.
Boy, you and my wife, she cannot stand Pete Carroll.
Well, he cheated at USC and then he bailed. They took the punishment. He got the NFL contract.
Yeah. Here's what's funny, though, about that. It's the Reggie Bush thing. They took his Heisman away and they penalized him in the school and everything. And now what he actually got paid is a pittance on what's in Arch Manning and even these female athletes are getting.
Yep.
I mean, in fact, Caleb Williams, who OU fans just love, he's an OU favorite. That's a joke. They hate him.
I know it.
How dare him?
I'm trying to think of anybody who comes to mind when you say that.
Yeah. How dare him? How could he
Well, yeah, he's another Tim Gill, you know.
yeah. But anyway, Caleb Williams. The reason he stayed in college an extra year because he was making so much money. I think he was getting $6 million to play college football. He said, "Hey, I'm not leaving if I go to the NFL. You know, who knows what will happen? Because you know, I mean, they get a signing bonus." But their salary is, I think, like $750,000 or something. It's not nearly what you get later. So it's kind of funny. They get the minimum rookie contract.
So a couple of days ago, I was over at one of my clients as a attorney. Went to KU, and he's got the KU banner up. And of course, I'm going to talk about Bill Self and stuff, you know, and his roots here, how he got his start. And then I told the Tim Gill story about, you know, how ironic. And then I thought about it afterwards. If Tim Gill had not 2 weeks earlier decided to try to go to Arkansas, if he would have waited, what are the chances he would have said to Bill Self, "Hey, I'd like to transfer to TU with you. Can I do it?"
Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to contemplate.
Because Tim Gill and his ORU team beat TU that year. He was clearly the best guard on the court.
Oh yeah, everybody knew Tim Gill's one of the best players Oklahoma's had.
Yeah, in fact, I would watch the famous, you know, Valparaiso ORU where it's Tim Gill and Bryce Drew, both in, you know, NBA class. That great. But you know, it's just the irony of it. And how would Bill Self have looked if he had recruited Tim Gill after humiliating him like he did? You know?
Yeah, the other question is, had he waited 2 weeks and then he and Rocky decided to jump ship afterwards when the newspapers were praising the move of
now that's
Bill
another
Self,
point.
but all of a sudden, oh no, you have to stay at ORU.
Yeah,
that would be a whole different.
And you know, because Henson, who took over, he was, you know, the assistant,
right.
And he, you know, he largely benefited by having such a great team left intact after Bill Self left.
And as soon as they were gone,
yeah. Well, Henson ended up getting a deal at Southern Missouri State University. He went there. I don't know
who was it? He wasn't the high school coach, was he? I think they ended up with a guy from, was he Claremore coach that
I don't know,
ended up coming in after him? I'm not sure.
Well, of course, Scott Sutton came in, I think right after Barry Henson. That was
I think he may have. Where did Henson come from? Before
I don't know. He was somebody that, you know, worked. Bill Self recruited, I think.
Okay.
Because see, when Bill Self started, they were still in the NEIA school.
I thought there was an interim between them and then, what's the name from OSU?
Yeah, Scott Sutton.
Scott Sutton. Yeah.
No, Sean, his brother, was the great point guard. Yeah, you know, and then Dad was legendary coach. Yeah. You know, but anyway, so that's interesting how that goes. Yeah. All right, what else? So 8:00 tomorrow. You guys want to tune into that? You're a Sunday night for the halftime show. It's time to make a statement.
Yeah, just go online and see where can I watch the Great American Halftime Show.
If you don't have the Roku app on a computer or your TV, a smart TV, get it. It's definitely, I mean, I use Roku a lot. Real America Voice app, get it. They're also, if you're have the Pluto app on a smart TV, that's basically like having a Dish network for free. And they have Real America's Voice, and they'll be in there. And now Newsmax, you do have to subscribe to get their main channel. They have Newsmax 2, which is still free. You know, and they kind of have their B line up there. Actually, a lot of them are great. Former Fox News people, you know, so.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Fox, well, where's the main game? Is it on Fox? Or is it NBC?
Oh, NBC has the rights to the game.
So I'm surprised Fox is not carrying it. because they usually try to, unless they're afraid that if they do that, the NFL will try to hold them hostage, that they're not allowed to interfere or something.
When Fox as a network first started, they were losing money like crazy. And there was always the three, NBC, ABC, and CBS. If you remember, ABC had the Monday Night Football game, but NBC and CBS, one had AFL largely, the other had AFC, the other had NFC. And all of a sudden, Fox spent big money to pull a contract away from, I think it was
CBS.
CBS, right. Yeah. And then CBS eventually got it back, and NBC is out. Yeah, right. So NBC started their Sunday night game. So Goodell has a way of capturing all four networks.
Yeah.
And he went after Amazon's Prime network, and he started the NFL network. It seemed like there's one, was it Netflix did a football game this year?
Yeah, I think they did. You're right.
So Goodell's kind of trying to spread the network. And yeah, I think by having several of them, he's making them compete with each other. So yes, if I were Roger Goodell, which God, thank you, I'm not.
Well, they also have, what is it? Is it ABC? Oh, ESPN Deportes, the Spanish language, which is ABC.
Yeah, ABC, the
ESPN,
Disney network.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But they have that now. So I'm wondering if he didn't work a deal where they can play the game in the Spanish language.
Yeah,
those
but of all the networks, the one that's most committed consistently is Fox. You know, they would not let go of that. And if I were them, I wouldn't risk it.
Oh, yeah.
Not for just some halftime show where you're getting part of the crowd.
Yeah, it's funny because Fox leads in sports, but they're lagging on the regular entertainment. Mm-hmm. You know, they've tried to make up for it with game shows. They've got all these game shows every night, you know, but primetime game shows.
Yeah.
Like the Masked Singer, you got...
reality TV.
Right.
Where you have competition going on in different ways. And really, reality TV, the last 20 years, you know, it's kind of ridden this big wave and hanging on to something.
You know, it's funny because the one show I've never, ever watched, believe it or not, is, what is it, Survivor?
Oh, yes. That's the granddaddy of them
I know. I mean, to me, I thought it was stupid. I just was never attracted to that show, you know. So it's funny how I escaped.
Yeah, American Idol is back on, and my wife has just gone nuts about this gal, a gospel music singer from Missouri. Oh gosh, my wife's going to be so upset that I didn't mention her name, but really class act, a young mom, and. So that's going on this year. There's 2 more weeks before the Hollywood thing. So you've got Hannah Harper. There it is. Hannah Harper, a mom of 3. She's only like 25 years old, and she's got that Dolly Parton style and a little bit of oh gosh, I'm trying to think.
Taylor Swift?
No. Anyway, you're going to like her style. My wife says support her, okay? Because you know how it is. These artists, they can't say how they did, but all this stuff was taped. And she says, oh, you're going to want to watch me. You're going to want to watch me. And these artists now build their own social media networks while this is going on because it's all about getting votes. You know, I remember that was a big thing when, what's her name from Oklahoma won it. Gosh, what happened to my name? Carrie Underwood. You know, she's a
host. She's one of the hosts.
She's actually kind of in charge now, and Lionel Richie, and then we got a country western singer guy.
It was Keith Urban. Who is it? Is it still him? Oh, what's his name's on? Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the other show. What's the one that NBC has? I can't remember because you got American.
The Voice.
The Voice. Yeah, The Voice. That's where Lionel Richie is.
No.
Oh no, that's right. He is no. The Voice has. Oh, what's this guy? I can't think of his name now. Black singer. Used to be friends. In fact, he was discovered by Kanye West.
Okay.
And now he's just totally stabbed Kanye in the back. But I can't think of his name right now. But yeah. Anyway, we're floundering here, Dave. Yeah. We're floundering.
Yeah,
so
I know.
We probably should wrap it
show
up.
notes. So anyway, that goes on Monday nights, and I know what I'm watching every.
One thing I do want to bring up, and that's the case of I keep wanting to say Jesse Smollett, but it's not Jesse Smollett. It's his buddy. His booty buddy on CNN. They used to be in Don Lemon.
Okay.
Don Lemon was involved in this church attack where this anti-ICE group wanted to go in and protest it used to be a Catholic church. It's a Protestant service. But anyway, and so apparently the way it looks is Don essentially encouraged these people to do this, to break into this church service and basically just disrupt and took over it. Now, Don along with several of these protesters were arrested and he's crying foul. He's trying to cry First Amendment, but it's under the KKK, this is what's so funny. Yeah. Under the Ku Klux Klan Act, you're not allowed to disrupt or in any way harm a church service or school.
Yeah.
And so Don now is playing the victim, and they're trying to say, well, it's, the First Amendment. Well, no, because he wasn't just reporting, they found him actually inciting the attack into. And so he's trying to...
I think he's one of the organizers.
Oh, yeah. So he's trying to skate on this side over here. He's just such a two-faced flake.
Oh, yeah, he's crap.
Guy is a flake.
I know several of the black churches in South Minneapolis, and I'm wondering why he didn't go disrupt a black service.
Or a mosque.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Well, you know why. You and I both know why. And know why.
It's the Christian nationalists, don't you know? White Christian nationalists.
White Christian nationalists. Yeah. Republicans, probably, all the way down.
Oh, I as much as I'm disgusted with, Minneapolis, disappointed with Minnesota in general, which I grew up in, the Duluth curling team is likely to give it to, especially the women's team, is likely to take that curling gold ribbon from the Canadians. Canadians had dominated, but they lost a first round game yesterday, a match. Yeah. So,
can't believe I missed that.
Yeah. So, Colorado, because they have the Olympic Training Center and everything, and some young athletes move there years in advance of competing. Colorado has the most athletes. This is the biggest U.S. team we've ever sent. Well over 200. Really? 30 of them claim Colorado as their home state. Next is Minnesota with 24.
How many minority athletes?
Our top speed skater in the women is a black woman.
Okay.
And actually, speed skating has been very much, we've had some Asians and blacks that have been amongst our top.
Well, yeah, it's the same muscle structure that makes you run fast.
Sure.
If you can convert it to the ice, you should be able to.
Yeah.
To me, though, that's such.
Does that explain the Korean dominance?
It could be, but my thighs hurt just watching.
Yeah.
One lap.
See those muscles in slow motion.
One lap, and man, it would just tear you. I mean, you wouldn't be able to walk for 2 days.
But you
have to start young. You really have to start young to develop and build your muscle structure to be able to handle that.
What was the elevation? You grew up in Nuremberg your early years. What's it? That's pretty high up.
Nuremberg's not that high.
It isn't. See, Minnesota isn't that high, but it's cold.
Right.
I was a competent skater at age 3. This is it. When you've got, Minnesota has 2 seasons, winter and July. And when you have that long of a winter season, you can get really good at certain things. And that's why, Minnesota, the dominating state for Olympic hockey, dominating, and much of the Minnesota contingents with the hockey team in there, because they have like 4 Division I hockey schools there. So anyway, you've got all that going on. And I think the Olympics, hey, look, root for the U.S. and don't be ashamed that you're a nationalist, okay? Own it. It's a good thing to be a nationalist.
All right. You heard it.
And encourage your friends who are not American to be proud of themselves too. It doesn't take away from who you are to allow your friends to be who they are, regardless of what nation.
You mean like the all of the 50,000 Mexicans that show up when USA plays Mexico and root for Mexico?
Yeah,
those citizens, those the ones root for their country.
But when I first moved down here, I would still root for the Gophers. I remember going to an ORU baseball game. I was the one Gopher fan when the University of Minnesota came down to play and got spanked by ORU. But I was still, identified that way.
No, I understand.
By the way, you said you're going to watch the replay of the Super Bowl.
Right.
Now, one of the things one of my sons told me about is on YouTube, you can watch a recap of the game where they show every play, but just the play itself. And you watch a whole NFL game in about 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
well, we'll see if they allow that with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or whether they have special rules there.
Yeah.
ESPN may not even be able to carry the Super Bowl.
That's true, because it somewhat undermines. Kind of like
it'll be on the NFL Network.
Yeah,
is where you'll be able.
Well, see, I don't pay for that. Homie, don't do it. Play that
Homie, don't play
that. but like your friend Pat Campbell would do his morning show, but then he'd put it up on podcast. He didn't realize he was, hurting his morning show by saying, you can sleep in and listen to it without the commercials.
Right. Hey, one thing I just realized I forgot about. Savannah Guthrie's Today's Show host, Savannah Guthrie, her mother, they're still trying to find her. She has disappeared and nobody knows. And it's weird that it doesn't seem to be a kidnapping for ransom because there's been no ransom demand or anything. They just have no idea. She just disappeared.
And there's over 50,000 children who've disappeared that Biden can't tell us where they came from either.
Where they went.
Yeah. And I'm a little bit surprised. Now, Savannah Guthrie's mother, that may explain why it's made the news. Normally, it's got to be a hot college chick, and then we're interested in it. And no, I'm serious.
I understand what you said, but let's go back to the 50,000 children. Are these immigrant children that are missing? These are not just...
They've come in and people have claimed this is my child.
Right, and they don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we know where they are, but yeah.
Sex trade, yeah.
Right. Sadly.
So, yeah. Well, why don't we call it a wrap? And next week, Lord willing, and Dave Bond, get well. We're going to have Dave Bond from OCPA in, unless something else comes up. We don't know.
All right. Sounds good to me.
If the bombs fly, we might do something else.
Absolutely.